Hi, I'm Alana and welcome to Button Bash. Sacred 3 is a new hack and slash brawler that is fairly different to its predecessors in a way that's likely to disappoint fans, but still manages to provide hours of fun. I played it on the Xbox 360, though it is also available on the PlayStation 3 and PC. So if you're looking for the free-roaming complexity of Diablo, like I was, Sacred 3 is not the game for you. Instead, it's a more linear game with little to do but slaughter through enemy hordes, but in its defense, destroying the waves of enemies thrown at you is really satisfying. I should start out by saying that this isn't an RPG. It looks like one, feels like one, and I certainly wanted it to be one, but it's not. It's much more simple than that. The gameplay is fairly basic, with a handful of classes to choose from. You can play as Marek, a Saphiri warrior, Varja, a Kukuri archer, Claire, a Seraphim paladin, and Alithia, an Arcanian lancer. Each character has their own magic type with magic spells and special abilities, executions, and a bash move that cleans up the streams of orcs, actually called Grimmicks, gremlins, and zombies wielding shields. The combat is really smooth, really fast, and a breeze to play, though sometimes you will need to spam an attack just to fight through the various levels of the game, trying to recover some super important thing from a super important bad guy. It's all up to you, hero. You can also unlock things called weapon spirits as you're taking down enemies, and those act a bit like perks or buffs, but they each have a downside. I actually really like the way these work. For example, you can get one that heals teammates in exchange for making your own healing progress slow down. You can feel totally unstoppable with the right weapon spirit, though you do have to listen to them talking too, which might make you want to stop anyway. The weapon spirits are actually characters in themselves, the first one I found being an irritating self-proclaimed ladies' man.
Usually I get ambushed by the ladies.
This is where the rather forceful humor in Sacred 3 begins, but not where it ends. The dialogue is there consistently throughout the game, both from your allies and from your enemies, and virtually every line is delivered with intent to make you laugh. Initially, I did laugh, until I realized how common it was and it just became grating. It breaks the fourth wall in a couple of clever ways, but usually it's just cringeworthy. Dad jokes everywhere. The rest of the game, though, houses the basics like support items and treasure chests, and while nothing here is outstanding, it all functions as it should. Aside from checkpoints that are way too far apart during the beginning of the game, which is kind of tough, I have no complaints about the basic mechanics of Sacred 3, it all feels very polished. That said, I do certainly have complaints. There are low-level and high-level enemies, with different parts of the game being near impossible for you to approach from the start, but even the low-level guys can be a huge pain. Where Diablo might have you fight a boss alongside a handful of low-level enemies, Sacred 3 has you fight a boss alongside a horde. Before you get in the hang of the game, your character won't be equipped appropriately, and this is really immediately annoying. If you grind though, it's easy to get too powerful for the game to even provide a challenge. There's a lack of balance here, which is all but doubled when you figure out how repetitive enemy attacks can be. And the level system is initially really friendly and simple, but when it stays that way the entire time, it's kind of hard not to criticize for having less detail than most games. As you level up, the game automatically unlocks new skills, weapons, and abilities, but without your input. Your only choice here is what you'll equip, not what you'll upgrade, and it feels a lot like the automated stuff favors weapons you don't even use. It's hard to get motivated to level up, which for me tends to be the kind of thing that keeps me coming back to games like this. I mean, there's certainly no point staying around for the story, but the cutscenes are beautifully stylized. The audio itself is really polished, and hell, even the voice acting is alright. The environments are varied and definitely very pretty, with explosions tearing away at buildings in great detail as you progress. Things seem to just crumble and fly around you as you're hacking away at those you oppose, and accidentally sending wood planks flying while you're just trying to kill a guy totally adds to that satisfaction. It's a good brawler.
You know what? You really harsh at my gig. Fortunately, my elite guard can't wait to finish it.
We're so close. That elite whatever is not so tough, right?
I'm Alana, and thanks for watching Button Bash.